all, it is episode 26 of the Reilly Roundtable, where we talk about movies, we talk about life, we talk about movies and life and everything in between. And yeah, we're going to talk about something in the between. You might notice there's no cold open today.
Ooh.
Wasn't in the mood. I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, John Rocha here.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, I am bringing in John Rocha, my official almost co-host on the Reilly Roundtable.
I love the Reilly Roundtable. Thank you.
I love having you on here, man. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. It's been a busy day.
Yeah,
it's been a bit of an interesting week, to say the least.
To say the least.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Reilly Roundtable show, the topic happens just right next to me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to have you on because, one, we're going to talk about movies. We're going to talk about Brightburn a little later in the show because I really want to geek out about the idea of a dark Superman, the idea of a horror movie that can kind of subvert the superhero genre. But I want to start, Aquaman.
Coming in hot, Reilly.
You know, it's like the very first Reilly Roundtable I did it by myself, and it was Confessions of a Disney Shill.
Yes.
And just because, great movie. Because the idea of, being called a shill for liking the movies that I like it upset me. And it, when I went into it and I made my points and, then I said, sure, I'm a shill. Yeah, I'm a shill for the movies I like. But famously, you came on and we talked about Man of Steel. And we debated Batman v Superman and Justice League because of the differences of opinion. Both movies that, I didn't really like Justice League, that's for sure. Yeah. But, talking the merits of DC. And now, here we are. Aquaman comes out. And I remember the reactions because I still haven't seen the movie.
Oh, wow.
And I will see it. However, I will not share my thoughts online.
Wow.
I don't think I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I don't care.
Okay. Fair.
I don't know. Actually, this is not some gauntlet throwing down.
Right.
I'm not going to do it. I don't know. But we talk about this all the time. Yeah. And we talk about the toxicity online. But I remember being on the couch watching some movies, catching up on some screeners, taking some notes of my own for Reilly Roundtable for work, and seeing your tweet go out. And I was one of the first to kind of see it and go, okay. And I clicked on the thread. I clicked on Perry's thread.
Oh, yeah, Perry's thread. Yeah, poor Perry.
Dan Murrell.
Oh, yeah.
And it just, okay, so one, I want to do something different. I'm not going to rant or blame or defend ourselves, and certainly not make you defend your opinion because there's nothing to defend. But I want to study this. I don't know. I want to open up a conversation between the two of us. Okay. And of course, I'm not going to point out any names from anybody. Who came into your mentions, who went on YouTube and all these things, because this is a tired kind of thing that we talk about. Yeah. But I'm just, what am I trying to say? I'm wondering why, sure. Yeah. I'm wondering if we'll ever be able to be looked at as just, this is our opinion. And it's okay. And believe me, I actually went through all of your mentions on Twitter. I really wanted to do my research.
It's easier to do when you're not involved, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. But knowing you, you've become one of my closest friends over the many years. You're my boy.
Thank you, man.
And I was mad for you. I was offended for you. I was... Perry as well. Yeah. Perry's kind of like we all the boys look out for her. I've said that many times, and it's like I was mad because of that. Then I go to my other good friend Dan Murrell, who sends out a tweet that says reviewing these big event movies has become exhausting. It's pointless. People have already made up their minds and are just waiting to jump down your throat, whether you liked it or you didn't. Every single one becomes a weeks-long fight. It's an absolute no-win scenario.
Yeah.
The reason I mentioned that is because it feels so feels awful.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot going through me when I read that, and I know people personally where we get along so well behind closed doors, sure, but we talk about our love of movies always, is that we're walking around the space, and no matter the movie, we talk about it. We'll bring up things we liked. I mean, I remember you came in from Aquaman, and you said, well, you did mention some good things.
Yeah.
But it's just, it didn't land with you.
No.
And that's okay. But some of these responses, man, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I don't know what it is that I have my theories and I have my thoughts, but I don't know what it is that sparks that kind of anger and vitriol. People, and we can cuss on here, right? Like,
fucking, of course you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a guy comment back at me. Someone was defending me and said, "Don't question John's knowledge of film." He's talked about Lawrence of Arabia. He's talked about, because my Cinephiles, that podcast is all about classic and great films, analyzing them. We've spent hours upon hours. Sometimes Lawrence of Arabia was like 5-hour podcast that we broke up into 2.5 hours each with Rachel Cushing, because we broke the thing down. I know how to analyze film. I'm quite knowledgeable about film.
Yeah, you
for
are.
decades been doing this.
Yeah.
And so when people like defend me, then you have a guy that comes back at him and goes like, "Oh, those are the most basic choices you can make when you like in classic films." And then he goes, and then he adds, well, he might as well just said The Godfather, but he puts a space between God and Father. So playfully, I went back at him and I was like, "That's Godfather, one word, numbskull." Like, I just playfully, and he's like, "You could suck my dick and you could do this, blah, blah, blah." And his boys chimed in after him and they were just like, "Yeah, you told Rocha, blah, blah, blah." And I'm just like, what is happening to you guys? Like, what is happening to people? It's just my opinion. I didn't like it. I don't have 5 million followers to sway a movie one way or the other. It's just my thought, and it's my way of sharing my opinion on social media. Now, absolutely, if I share it on social media, I should be ready to take whatever hits I get, and that's fair, and people can comment. I'm open to having honest conversations with people on Twitter about stuff. But when you come at me with sarcasm, when you come at me with slights, when you come at me with like digs at who I am as a person, or me liking Transformers movies as a guilty pleasure, like those kinds of things, then you go at the core of who I am as a person, and then we're back on the street. And if we're on the street and we're talking shit, then that's where you brought it to that level. I don't comment on people and talk shit, like just right off the bat go on their Twitter feeds and do it.
Yeah.
They come at me. They're commenting on me. So at times, and I feel bad about this now in retrospect.
Yeah.
I went back at a few people in the comment thread and I was upset about it.
I saw it, and rightly so. I mean, seriously, I look at some of the vitriol that comes your way, and it's like you have every right, because if you're going to come at me that hard, you should be able to take it. If the situation was reversed, and I mean, I even go to look. You ended that tweet with like how disappointed you were.
Yeah.
You were just like,
oh, you mean my original tweet about
your
the
original
movie?
tweet?
Yeah, just disappointed.
Yeah, and I just wanted. You were like, you ended it with like, "Damn it!"
Yeah,
like, "Damn it!" I was hoping it would be good.
Exactly. I wanted to love it.
Yeah,
and I didn't, and it just didn't land with me at all. I felt like the film was just a mishmash of styles that just didn't work for me.
I've heard that. I've heard this. Like the tone is a little like. Well, what is the tone?
And I can't tell you how many people in our sphere either texted me or DM'd me and told me how much they appreciated me saying that about Aquaman to take the hits, because they weren't going to do it, because they were tired of doing it. And this goes back to what you said, Reilly, how you're not sure if you're going to post your thoughts, or you're clear that you're not going to post your thoughts about Aquaman. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I think is where and that's why I feel like, that's why I go back at these people, because I believe that these people have hounded so many people off the internet, off social media. Well, in my mind, I'm a fighter.
Yeah.
I've fought for everything in my life, and I'm a warrior. Yeah. So if you come at me, get fucking ready. That's how I approach it. Get fucking ready, because I'm not going to sit back and take the hits and just let you keep talking shit about me. That being said, Dorian has said to me, he's like, "Brother, I get why you get upset. I get the shots at the take, as you brought up, but it might be smarter just to mute, and move on." And that's certainly possible.
It's one way.
And I just don't like that they get to hound Perry or female critics in sexist and misogynistic ways.
Yeah.
I don't like that they get to go after Dan. Dan posted that like someone wished cancer on his mother.
Let's put that out there because
this is not an isolated thing, people. This is what people need to understand. This isn't 1 or 2, 3 people. Like, take time if you really got something, go and read the mentions and read the things that are being said by people to us for just an opinion about a movie that they have not even seen. That's the mind-blowing part of it all.
That is the mind-blowing part, is that they haven't seen the movie. And so Dan Murrell does tweet and says, it is, and you're right, in response to somebody else.
Yeah.
But when somebody tweets you that they hope your mom gets cancer so they can laugh at her because you didn't like a movie about a fish man, it can send you over the edge a little bit. Now, the reason, again, that I'm doing this is because I want to be very, very honest with certain struggles that I have with anxiety, depression, with feeling unsure of myself, because when I get attacked on Twitter, it affects me. It does.
Yeah. I've been in the office when it has.
Yeah. Been in the office for me. And I kind of want to pull back the veil, for everybody. When it comes to Reilly Roundtable, though, and some of the comments and the fans of the show, it's a safe place.
Yeah.
I absolutely feel that. So I don't know if this will reach. I don't know if it'll have the reach that I'm hoping for, but I don't believe that a lot of people realize that there's a human being on the other end.
Yes.
And I think that's an obvious thing to say. I think that on the flip side of that is that they're hiding behind it was an egg at one point, now it's a blank avatar, or when something's coming when you have. And I hate to say this as a Superman fan, but there's a Superman logo somewhere. Yeah. And I get the hate, and I'm like, oh no. Here's. And there are different kind of fandoms that seem to be, putting a flag in the sand here that like I'm going to fight for my fandom. Yeah. Whether it's DC, Marvel, Star Wars, those seems to be the big ones. And I always feel like DC. I feel like you're either with me or you're against me. Yeah. And that's hard to take when you love Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, Batman v Superman is, right. I was lukewarm, but I fought for it a little bit because I do like it. Yeah. But not liking Justice League, not liking Suicide Squad, then it's like they don't even know anything about you that you will go to the mat for a Man of Steel, but that you can turn around and say, but Suicide Squad was garbage. Yeah, yeah. And that they can't see the, and maybe it's my own wording when I say Suicide Squad is garbage. Does that affect the person so much? And they go, that's too much language there. Yeah. So therefore, I'm going to tell your mom to get cancer. That doesn't work for me. So,
but Dan didn't even say that. Dan just said there are some things that worked for me and some things that really didn't.
Right.
That's it.
That's it.
He was way nicer than I was.
Yes, he was.
I came at I call it paint by numbers filmmaking. And what I meant by that was it felt to me like all the boxes were checked. Okay. Or issues with parents' origin story, check. Love interest that they eventually possibly consume, check. Brother issue, check. Like it just felt like it was all, but it wasn't. I didn't sense the soul of the film as powerfully as I wanted to sense it, right? And I didn't like the way they portrayed the Atlanteans. So for me, those were the issues, and so that's why I responded the way I did. And I can say and be introspective and be like, well, maybe I should have worded it a little bit more safely, but. Then who am I if I'm saying it safely to cloud or like cover my actual honest opinion about it? So I left it raw. I left it. I was disappointed. I left it. Damn it. And so, but Dan didn't. And to still get cancer wished on your mom is mind blowing to me. And people need to know these are the people out there saying this stuff. And it's not 1 or 2 people. It's not like 10 people. It is lots of people.
I mean,
over and over again.
Your tweet had 250 plus comments, and I went through them. But that's So, to give you everybody a little off of your point here. It's not one person. It's not 2. It's not 3. It's not 4, 5, 6. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And so you can get the whatever, like, dude, you suck.
Yeah.
dude, you did. Then it can escalate. And what I think is missing from some of the conversation is like sometimes, and I've done this, I've been very aware of this when I've done it, I could snap on one of them.
Yeah.
And it could be such a minuscule comment compared to the others. But what I think the other person doesn't realize maybe is that that's after 15, 16, 20 comments.
It's accumulation. Yeah.
Accumulation where you're in each one is landing. Now, I've always struggled with the idea of like, I want everybody to like me. Like, I don't know where that came from. Like, you know, I am in therapy and I believe in it so much. And I think that there was something that was interesting when I came to social media that I've since started to outgrow, thankfully. But is that I wanted people to all like me. And so I would go a little bit easy. If I didn't like something, I would definitely take like a route about trying to be very safe. And so I didn't have to trigger people because I was scared to get the response. Because if I did get a response, no matter how high or low, harsh, you know, the cancer thing, but it would affect me. It would land, and I would go, hey, I'm sorry. And, you know, in dealing with my life, you know, there are certain things that I've learned in my therapy that I look at. They're like, well, if you look at where you came from, you can see trying to, fuck it, I'll say it. My dad, an alcoholic. Yeah. My therapist has, you know, looked at me, figured out some kind of triggers, and this is just setting it up, has nothing to do with comments on Twitter, let me tell you that. But the idea that I was always looking for that acknowledgement.
Approval.
Yep.
Yep.
And not getting it because there is a certain thing missing where your dad kind of disappears behind booze. Yeah. And he's not there for you. And so that was a very old wound that stuck with me. And so I noticed in my early days on Schmoes where I would be very, very cautious. I would be very this. And in my film debates, I would concede points very easily because even sitting across from somebody, I would concede the point very fast, very easily because I wanted them to like me too. And you're right, I want to be on your side. And I thought that was very fascinating to kind of pull back. And then when you put that person on social media, and I noticed this about myself, and after a while, I decided, you know, one, you can't do that. You can't please everybody. That's hard for me to realize, and at least put in practice in life. And so, but then as you start to kind of work this kind of idea in this space and in social media and the toxicity where it exists, after a while, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to give them power. I know you might be watching, listening, and going, but you're giving these people power right now. What I'm trying to do is not give them power, but kind of flip it and say, this is our power. I want our power back. And just at least to be feeling stronger about this. Because I wanted to ask you, you say you're a fighter. You did bring up, somebody said, Rocha, don't worry about it. And you're like, you brought up your service and you said, man, I can handle this. And I went, damn right he can. Rocha's one of my boys. I know he can. But I want to ask you, how does it land with you? Does it hurt?
You know, this is a good conversation to bring up because when I first started, because people need to know, like, I didn't strive to be a part of this business. I kind of stumbled into it.
Same.
Yeah. Through Christian.
Through Christian. He brought me on Schmoes, and then before I knew it, here we are.
Exactly. And he brought me into Far, Far Away, and before I know it, here we are. But as I got a taste for it more and more, I found more enjoyment out of this than I ever did on camera acting. Not voiceover acting, but on camera acting. Right. And so I loved doing this. And so I found I had a knack for it. I just needed more time to get better and better. So when I first started on social media, I like you, I didn't want to upset anybody. I wanted to say nice things. I didn't want to kind of cause any problems or anything. Because Christian told me, just wait. Because he would say, like, just wait till you get more and more followers. Because like they kind of like me. It seems like they like me. It's like, you're a fresh voice. You're a new voice. They're going to like you. But eventually, trust me, as you get more and more followers, they're going to start nitpicking your thoughts and your views, blah, blah, blah. So when I had the breakdown in 2016, when I almost killed myself in November of 2016,
which I hate hearing.
Well, it was, you know, my own struggles, as you said, my own struggles, my stuff that I went through that morning came to a head to the point where it was going to happen, literally going to happen. And what the result of that was is this very intense therapy with 2 therapists over 6 months. And those 2 therapists exposed this insecurity and this self-confidence stuff that I had struggled with up to that point.
Sure, yeah.
And we went step by step. They regressed me all the way back to elementary school, man. Through this kind of therapy that works off buzzers. I can't remember the anagram for it, but it works off buzzers. And every session they regress you to the point where this first all started, the event that caused all of this. And it was really interesting to have them regress me all the way back to elementary school, to have the event and to relive the event so viscerally.
Yeah.
And from that, then they reconstructed you back to the day, to the full time. So when that happened over the 6 months, I found I understood what was happening for me, so that now, so I became stronger as a working in my job, stronger in and I think that's why I have a successful relationship that I have now with my girlfriend, because I had to kind of get rid of this old shit of how I operated, needing approval from my girlfriend, my friends, my family, from my fans, followers, my coworkers. I had to regress from that, and it's not a coincidence that that's when I started having even stronger opinions about movies, being open to say I didn't think Lord of the Rings is as good, or that I have a more proclivity for The Hobbit, or I didn't like Goonies, or those things I slowly but surely found a strength to be like, no, I've got to be myself, and I've got to be willing to take the hit. So when I posted that thing about the Army, that was my way of saying to people, hey, I've suffered through this. And then in my mind, I've also suffered through this depression that I climbed out of. So when I tweet something, I'm ready to take the hits, and I'm ready to see the thing see the comments and have them come after me, because I'm stronger about it now. But what I need to get better at, and that's why I barely am on Facebook now, what I need to get better about is responding back to people rather than just muting them. And that's my next step in my own evolutionary process as a person, and also as a pundit or movie critic or whatever I am on here. That's the next step for me, is not to engage with these people and just mute them, because I want to fight, because I don't like how they treat other people. I don't like how they treat Dan or Perry or Clark or Ash or any of these people that are their pundits.
All our friends.
Yeah, all our friends. The comments that they get that are so terrible, I think someone should fight back. I wish you could find the address of these people and go visit them at their houses. I wish you could. I wish you could have a government agency that would show up, be like, you know what? You're done. You're not on social media anymore. I wish Twitter had stronger laws to stop people from posting this kind of vitriol online. Because it does. I hear what you're saying. It does expose. It can expose your feelings of insecurity or self-esteem or self-confidence, because people forget that we are human beings. And the things they need to understand also is people need to look inside themselves. Am I mad at this person because that person is doing the job that I wish I could be doing, and I hate that they get to talk about a movie and affect people, and I don't. Nobody's listening to me. Nobody's listening to my podcast. Nobody's hearing what I have to say. Now, I'm not talking about people that have reasoned, logical comments that invite discussion. I'm talking about people who launch vitriol or make digs at who you are as a person, or your mother with cancer, or any of the misogynistic stuff or racist stuff or evil stuff you hear. Those kind of people is who I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like actual intelligent people who look for discourse. That's the thing.
I noticed you brought up, you mentioned some interesting movies in there in your kind of what you were just saying. Lord of the Rings stood out to me, Goonies, because that's fascinating to me, because I found these comments. And those movies were used against you. The big one I saw was Transformers. Now,
I know.
God, you and I have gone back and forth in a fun way,
of course.
I would say, because, Transformers, I have a famous rant on it. I don't like the movies, but haven't seen Bumblebee, but I will guarantee you, based on everything I've heard, that I'm going to love that movie.
It's at 95% of Rotten Tomatoes. You're going to love it.
I am going to love it, because I know that there's a different thing going on there. And so, and of course you like that one. You're a Transformers fan, but you can also separate, you know, it hits you in the feels in a way that, say, I can watch Jaws 2 and know that that is a bad movie, but I will watch that movie every chance I get because I love it when the shark eats people.
Right.
I don't know. It just lands on me a certain way.
Yeah.
But that's what I found interesting because going through all these, you know, perfect. Here's one. I am sorry, but I think your bias on Bumblebee and Transformers has clouded your judgment, says this person. You got a fake news gif of Donald Trump. Of course, he wants Marvel freebies with Endgame coming up. That's why you bashed it. You know, you said something. You responded to somebody. You said, "Oh God, that montage." Somebody saw it. There was a montage apparently in Aquaman.
Montage in the film,
Then that person responded, said, "Oh God, your taste in film."
Yeah.
Which your taste in film is.
Check how many followers that person has.
They all don't have a lot of followers.
That's the thing.
I'll spoil it right now. I'll spoil it right now. You were upset you didn't get invited to the early screening, so it's no surprise. Which is funny because you went to an early screening.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. All caps, every single Marvel movie is paint by numbers.
Yeah.
Somebody writes, it's your opinion, but it doesn't help that you work at Collidor.
Collidor, yeah.
What's new? All of that I cut and pasted, and my spell check is all underlined right now. Collidor, by the way, is, speaking of Lord of the Rings, is a new land where we have to go throw the ring of power.
It's a green ring of power.
Yeah, the green ring of power. He loves Transformers. Dude is an MCU shill. People like him are why I stopped watching Collider. With Schnepp gone, there are very rare enthusiasts who are open to DC there. All right, you brought up Schnepp on this one.
Yeah.
I think
that's a shot.
I know Schnepp. I think I don't know what he would what Aquaman would do for him.
I don't know because Robert Meyer Burnett loved it, but then tagged James Wan.
Yeah,
and James Wan responded back to Robert Meyer Burnett.
Right.
That is an interesting situation overall. So
it's interesting.
I don't know if Schnepp would like it as much. He might. There he is over my shoulder there. He might. I have absolutely loved the bonkersness of Aquaman.
He might have.
But he would have also fought for my right not to like it and tweet about it online.
The Schnepp would go to the mat.
Yeah.
Schnepp would jump in there and say, you know what, F you dingleberry, whatever he would say. And I know for a fact that Schnepp and I have stood around talking about DCEU movies that he did not like.
Yep.
So that's fine.
He'd be like,
actually, and that's what I love.
Which is what his way of coming at the fans.
Yep, and I miss Schnepp because Schnepp was another shining example for me of not giving a fuck about what people think.
Yep.
And that is a challenge for me.
He did try to tell me that. I was always like, why do you respond back to them? It's a waste of your time. Don't do it. Don't do it.
He'll occasionally, like if I remember, he would occasionally jump in there. But if we get to YouTube, this is where it gets a little bit.
I didn't even look at these, so this will be my first time hearing these.
Right. Yeah. So and I didn't pick any like really bad ones. There were some.
Yeah,
but,
I'm sure.
You know, this person saw the movie. It's fun. Both of you find new jobs because you're terrible. All right.
Because you don't agree with me, you should lose your job.
Yeah. Yeah. I by the way, I emailed Fernandez. He told me stop emailing him. So, you know, he didn't care about this. That's what I'm saying. I emailed our boss to say they should lose their job. He said, stop emailing me. Yes. And then he said, what are we talking about for Rule of Two next? This person wrote, true Disney shills. Yep. Never disappoint. Rocha, I bet you get an extra little something in your Disney paycheck.
Yeah, my Disney paycheck.
This one, Rocha sits while he pees.
What? Sits what?
Sits while he pees.
Oh, that's it. I like that. That's a very mature one.
That's a good one.
Like
yeah. That's I'm back in high school. Holy shit. Wait a minute. MCU shills don't like Aquaman. Shocked. A reminder for you two, Power Rangers and Transformers really sucks. SUX. Thanks so much, Perry. Unsubscribing Collider. Cool. Who cares about these two's opinion anyways? This is my favorite, and then I'll end it there.
Yeah.
Hashtag never watch Collider again. So I clicked in that profile, and I went and found that since 19 hours ago, and some change since that video has been uploaded to our to our channel.
Yeah.
They watched 4 other videos of Collider.
What? I thought they were unsubscribing.
I thought they were unsubscribing too. So there it is. Okay, I don't want taking the light back off because it's just that is the lightest of it. That is not even going into the worst of it was Dan, and it was from his own words. So I wanted to shine a light there, but it affects us.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about why. What is it they want us to know?
Yeah.
So let's try to spin this into a positive. Like, what is it like? You brought up something I found interesting. Is like they want to do this.
Yeah.
What we're doing.
Oh, I think a majority of the people who comment wish they could do what we do.
That's great.
But they don't understand like the other side of it.
Yeah.
The industry is shrinking. People are getting fired left and right, and sites are shutting down.
Yep.
We are fighting hard to stay alive as a site. And the
every day.
Yeah, every day. And
we are fighting hard.
The reason we can work as like we do is because our boss respects that we are intelligent people who have our own thoughts about movies and are not compromised or bought out or are beholden to any network or franchise. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't work for DC or Disney or Marvel or anybody. We just have our own tastes in movies, and we go and watch it. And the thing is, all of us talk about it afterwards. Like all of us in the row who went to see Aquaman. I mean, we all looked at each other afterwards and had the same kind of comments. Christian liked it more than Perry and I did.
Yeah.
And our friend Nikki came with us, and she had her thoughts about it. And so it's like we just had our thoughts immediately. No one is going, hey, what does Disney tell us to say, or what does Marvel tell us to say? Because if you notice, I produce Collider Heroes, and producing Collider Heroes means I want both DC and Marvel and independent comics people on the show.
Yeah.
I try to bring as many people on the show. We just had the gentleman who played the Monitor in the Elseworlds crossover.
Nice. Yeah, that's right.
Monica Garrett. He was great. So why would I assist DC in one arena but then be totally against it in another? There's no logic to it. And that's what, at the end of the day, that's where these comments break down. Is I think these are people, the negative ones, right? Once again, I want to clarify this. The negative ones who seek to destroy, not seek to discuss.
Right.
Those are the ones that don't have no logical idea of how this whole place works and what we do for a living and how we have to do it.
Yeah, I'm writing that down. I love what you just said. Seek to destroy, not seek to discuss.
Yeah.
I really love that because. We need to say it. I do not mean all people. Like
Absolutely not.
That was one thing that I got pushed on for liking The Last Jedi and saying fans and like clumping detractors or people that have strong opinions or whatever into one all-encompassing group.
Yeah.
Believe me, I know, and it needs to be said that when I went down that thread. Off of your tweet, there were a ton of people coming to your defense.
Yeah.
An absolute shit ton of them.
I really appreciate that.
Hey, this is just his opinion.
Yeah.
Everybody chill out. But you are also getting your own names here. Oh, I see the DC trolls are back.
Yeah.
That was something I saw from a number of people that were defending you.
Yeah.
You see it all the time. Uh-oh, the DC peeps, they're all butthurt again, whatever it may be. And so the reason I bring that up because it becomes this gobbledygook that's just not healthy. You talk about cancer. That's festering.
Yeah.
And it's, become a cancer online. Just liking a movie, not liking a movie. On a movie.
Right.
It's like way back when. I'll always remember. This is before some of the hard stuff. I remember seeing Mad Max Fury Road, and everybody had told me it was just like the greatest thing. And I walked out and went, "Yeah, that's fine."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay." Yeah, it didn't land with me that hard. Do I think it's a good movie? Absolutely. Is it a technical marvel? Yes. Was that worthy of a Best Picture, a nomination? Yeah, I think so.
Right.
Just didn't land with me. I remember putting that on Twitter, and this guy just all caps unfollow. I was like, all right.
They want to be seen. They want to be heard.
So they want to be heard, and they want us to hear them.
Yes.
And so guess
That's what it's all about.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I'm
hear
doing
you.
a whole fucking episode on it.
But wouldn't it be better if we heard you and understood you and we could have a conversation about it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be better? Just hearing you and then muting you so I never hear you again is not a positive.
Right.
I should be able to not mute you and say, and have you comment in a way that seeks discussion, not seeks division. And that's the thing that's so frustrating overall, because I love talking to fans about, and I say this over and over again, because some people are like, oh, you're trying to tell us not to watch the movie. I'm like, I rarely ever say, don't go see this movie.
Right.
Rarely.
Right.
It is always like, especially something big like Aquaman, I would never tell someone not to go see that movie. My not liking it should not affect whether you should go or not.
Yeah.
But I saw a tweet the other day. I want to get your thoughts on this, Reilly. I think it was Paul Shirley. He posted. He's at Joe Blow, I think, and he said, "Don't let a critic tell you not to go see a movie, or no, don't let a critic tell their opinion affect you from going to see me. Go see a movie if you want to go see the movie." Blah blah blah. And I get the basic gist of it is correct.
Yeah.
However, you also can't discount that critics actually know what they're talking about and look at films in an analytical way and have their thoughts. You may not agree with them, but they have their thoughts. So that's essential as well, because what Paul's saying is just give studios money if you want to go see their movie, and I think that's dangerous.
Yeah.
So there's a middle ground here where you go, if you really want to go see the movie, you as a human being will decide that amongst yourself, within yourself, to go see the movie or not and spend the money or not.
Yeah.
But I also think critics have a right to tell you what they thought about a movie, because it might affect you not wasting that money that week to go see that movie, having a terrible experience, and coming out and being upset about the money you spent, and upset about the time you wasted, and upset about a movie you were looking forward to.
Right. I mean, that's what it's there for. I mean, I remember vividly reading and watching the reviews of Siskel and Ebert.
Right. Oh, God, yes.
And just being like, if I was on the fence on one, you know what, I'll wait for video.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's there for. It's a tool, not a demand, not an order. We are not here ordering you not to go see the movie if we didn't like it.
Right.
That is a very specific thing we are not doing. We are offering our opinions, and then what I find interesting is just like, I don't like your opinion, but yet I follow you.
Yeah.
So don't follow.
Right.
Fine. When it starts to bleed over to, this was so funny. This is so random too, how this works. I'm literally doing the research for this show, looking at some of the comments, and somebody tags me on Twitter and pulls up a screenshot of your review of Ant-Man and the Wasp and Aquaman. Oh. And said, yeah, no bias at all. No, nothing to see here.
Why don't they
And I'm like, why are you tagging me?
Probably because I've been on Reilly Roundtable.
Probably because you've been on Reilly Roundtable. But what's interesting is that I know who this person is too.
Oh.
They, off of one of the roundtables, us talking about Man of Steel, said, I had no idea you were such a huge Superman fan. Now I believe you're not, or he said something about being a Disney shill or whatever it was. I made light of it, and I said, I only get paid for the Disney nature films. $5 is $5. The guy wrote back, said, cool, laughed. Another guy jumped in and said, well, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean by that? And they start going, somebody jumped in defending me. And I said, hey, it's a win here, folks.
Yeah.
This is a win. Yeah. He did not know I liked Man of Steel. He did not know that I enjoy that movie. Let's just let it go. And it subsided. But when you come back at me and bring up Rocha's review of Ant-Man versus Aquaman, that does nothing for me.
Yeah.
That tells me nothing. Again, but I see it. He's pushing that narrative that I find incredibly offensive, that we're shills, that we're paid.
And then selectively ignoring the fact that you had interaction with this guy where he understood that you were a Superman, I'm a Superman fan.
You were on that
episode. Yeah, we were on that episode.
So
I love Man of Steel. I love Wonder Woman. I enjoy parts of Justice League. So you can never call me a Disney shill or a DC or a Marvel shill, because there are Marvel films I don't like Iron Man 2 at all. Yeah. I'm not a fan of a couple of the other Marvel films. I just don't come back. Like Ultron, I rarely watch Ultron. Yeah. And so there are films that I just don't gravitate to and enjoy. The first Thor I rarely watch.
Yeah.
And so but other ones get to me, really do it for me, and because I like what they've done. They're not paint by number. They're not cookie cutter. That's so ridiculous when I hear that in my mind, because all these Ryan Coogler is his own director, right? Scott Derrickson is his own director. John Watts, who it's Marvel, but it's under the MCU banner, is his own director. James Gunn was his own director. They're not all doing the same frickin' movie, and that drives me nuts. I find that such a ridiculous shortcut in thinking, because that tells me you don't know how to analyze film. You don't know how to dissect a director's approach to a project or a franchise or a movie.
Right.
You're just going with the easiest cop-out answer you can give. And look, and I may alienate some people here, but Reilly, to me, it feels like these people create conspiracy theories like another group of people create batshit crazy conspiracy theories to defend rather than accepting the honest truth of what's happening.
Yeah.
And they remind me of another group of people in the society who do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name by name, but I think you could know who I'm alluding to. And that is super frustrating to me overall, because I'm like, no, we're not shills. We're not paid by anybody. These are honest opinions.
Yeah.
And so overall,
I get what you're saying, and let me tell you something. The landscape will be changing. It is changing daily.
Yeah.
But I am looking towards a future where there will be, mark my words, a Marvel movie that comes out that will be rotten on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It will
It's
get
coming.
bad reviews. I mean, these things are cyclical. It happens all the time. I remember when ABC was the dog shit capital of the world when it came to television shows.
Yeah.
And then what reinvigorated it was Lost. Lost came out of nowhere, and then it was like kind of back on track. I remember Michael Eisner being the head of Disney.
Right.
And he was having a rough time, man. There were movies that were coming out. This was like the rise of Pixar. I mean, Disney was putting out Home on the Range.
yeah.
You know, this movie about cows on a farm that
Yeah.
Rosie O'Donnell was the voice, and that movie tanked.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember walking in the door and pitching a movie at Disney a week after Home on the Range came back, and they were like, "Hi, you have to go." You know, it was like Disney was starting to crumble from the inside out. Again, this will happen, and guess what? DC, we've already seen it.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman came out, got huge Rotten Tomato scores, made a bunch of money. Man of Steel kind of landed a little differently. This is just me. I loved it.
Me too.
So it's going to change. And my question to put out there is that when that change happens, are you going to remember? Are you going to remember that?
That's a great point.
That we fought and liked Marvel, and then when a movie comes out and maybe we put our filmmaking hats on and, God forbid, lay out an opinion on social media that says, you know what, the Eternals? You know, and I'm not picking on Eternals people,
Right.
but I'm just thinking, what's in the pipeline?
Sure.
Eternals, the Eternals movie. Wow, that was paint by numbers.
Yeah.
That didn't land with me. I thought, you know, this or that. Are we going to then get you're paid by DC?
Right.
I just want, you know, and again, I brought up a hypothesis that some of these people don't know us at all, and I get that, they don't, but don't even know us from some of our bodies of work.
Yeah.
So they see, you know, and I get it, you're excited. Aquaman reviews, and Collider does something really, really well, and that's SEO.
Yeah.
And we put it out there, and so maybe you put an Aquaman review, and the first thing that pops up is our video, and it's you and Perry. And they go, "Oh, fuck you! Kill people with this, and you are ugly and suck, and I hope your mom gets cancer."
Yeah.
So where's that coming from? I don't know. I'm trying to understand it. The whole point of this, you need to be heard. I get it. We brought that up. Maybe they want to do what we are doing. What else can it be?
Oh, well, I think a feeling of being disenfranchised. I think they know the DC brand has yielded some disappointing films, and they don't want to accept it. Some people don't. And
Yeah.
they feel disenfranchised by it. They hate that they see Marvel succeeding. Maybe they and they find an affinity for DC. So for them, they see like Marvel being the big brother that beats up on them all the time, right? In sports, it's the Clippers versus the Lakers, right? The
Yeah.
Lakers are Marvel, Clippers are DC, right? And so
Yeah.
the Clippers fans hate the Lakers fans because they're always winning. They think the media coverage is skewed towards the Lakers and not the Clippers, and you get that. And look at it to DC or Disney. You bring up, it's a really funny point. Pixar had such a long winning record. What if people on the DreamWorks animation side were like, "You guys are Pixar shills. You like everything Pixar does. What about Madagascar? What about Shrek? Shrek is just as good. Screw that. You guys don't respect it. Blah blah blah." And what if you? That's the ridiculousness of it. And they have to construct these narratives in order to support their opinions. And I think they feel an affinity for an underdog like DC who's can't quite get it 100% right, but does occasionally get it right. And maybe they feel a little guilty that it doesn't get it right all the time. And they hate that, in a way that they can't admit it.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. And again, I go back a bit where I say it's all cyclical. I mean, DC owned the superhero genre.
Oh, yeah.
Before Marvel started.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like you could go back.
And those are great films.
Like 1978 Superman is my favorite superhero movie of all time. Yeah. But there's an innocence to that movie. That came out in the 70s. That came out when Superman, came out and was the big flying Boy Scout.
We needed him.
We did need him.
Coming out of Vietnam, we needed him.
And he landed all right.
Yes.
And, sure, then Superman 2. I love Superman 2. Do you like Superman 2?
I love Superman 2. So much fun.
And I actually prefer the Lester cut more than the Donner cut.
Agreed.
Just because it's not all there.
Yeah.
And I can't really take it out of the fact that also I loved watching Superman and Superman 2. Then Superman 3 and Superman 4 happened.
Right.
Yeah, they happened all right. Yikes. But then we have Batman comes out.
Yeah.
1989's Batman. Whew. Love Batman Returns as well.
Batman Returns, that's my favorite of that.
Yeah,
section.
I love Batman Returns.
Yeah, the 89 Batman to me is a bit campy now in retrospect, so I don't love it as much. But Batman Returns still has a great weight to it and a phenomenal performance from Michelle Pfeiffer.
She's fantastic. I love that movie so much. Batman Forever, it's fine.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin is hot garbage served on a warm shit.
I know I'll lose a Schmodown one time because of some question from Batman and Robin, because I've only seen the first hour, and I've never ever gone back to finish it, and I never will. I don't think I ever will.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I watched it though again because growing up, I'm watching these movies even when they're bad.
Yeah.
And I'm watching them, and back then I couldn't really figure out why. Not until I got to college, studied film, and then got into business and studied and did all these things, where I can go back and go, yeah. But then we had the great run, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah,
everybody knows
phenomenal Batman
the best
movies.
Batman trilogy. You could maybe argue. I don't know.
I will defend The Dark Knight Rises to anybody.
God, I never get why people didn't like The Dark Knight Rises.
I love it.
I love it too.
You can't call me a Marvel shill if I love Dark Knight Rises, which a lot of people believe is the worst installment in that trilogy. Yeah. And I enjoy the hell out of it. I didn't mind Tom Hardy as Bane at all.
Yeah.
And I liked what the story was about, what he was confronting. I own that damn thing.
Oh, you're a Marvel shill. How interesting.
Right. It's all convenient timing.
It is convenient timing, and that's where, look, guys, again, I'm trying not to defend. I'm trying not to point fingers.
Yeah.
I am trying to be honest here, though. It does fucking hurt, because here's bringing it all round full circle here. I have noticed that I am less enthused by doing this, by sharing my thoughts anymore. It's starting to really take a toll on me, and I don't like that.
To hear, man.
I don't like that. It's starting to become a thing where, okay, yeah, I'll do the review. I'll go to that screening. What's the matter, Reilly? I don't know, man. It's just it's like I'll do the review, and I find myself doing this. I'll see the movie.
Yeah.
I'll enjoy the hell out of myself or not, and then I'll do the review, and I'll be passionate. And I'll give it my 100%, and I'll have my conversations with everybody.
Yeah.
But this is honesty here.
Yeah.
This is complete honesty. You know, some of my wind has been let out. It's been affecting me. This is just a thing I have to deal with.
Yeah.
It's not always, but I have noticed that I have done less movies, less screenings, unless it's the big ones. Because, one, there's a little bit of things I'm doing now in my career that I want to focus on more, like writing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take those moments where I can. Going home early for me now is like, because I get home because I also beat my fiance home.
Yes.
And I get some time to write. Not that she comes and goes, "What are you doing?" No, she,
Right.
it's easier that way. But I've noticed that, and it is in direct response to some of these comments we get.
Yeah.
It starts to take a toll. And I look at Dan Murrell's tweet.
Yeah.
Reviewing these big event movies has become exhausting. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
What Dan wrote, that's how I feel. You don't feel that way?
No.
Good.
And I don't, because I'm still new to the business in 3 or 4 years, only been doing it. And I love going to I love movies, man.
Yeah.
And I love them to pieces. And I'll go and I'll give my thoughts, and I'm happy that anyone wants to hear what I have to say or follows me or whatever. And so for me, I think I'm just so used to fighting all the time for everything that, to me, this is just another arena I have to fight in. Like, it's just how I grew up poor. I grew up Latino. I grew up a fat kid. Everything I had to achieve in this world, I fought for everything. So it never turns off. The Schmoedown's the same way as a tailor built for me, man.
Yeah.
Fight for that title. It's tailor built for me.
Yeah.
And so those are, so when you ask me about losing. I don't lose the wind in the sails. What breaks my heart is hearing you say that, hearing Dan say that, because your voices, your analysis are so essential to film, to the understanding of film, to the breakdown of films, that I look forward to your guys' thoughts. And even if we don't agree, I still want to hear what you guys have to say, because I want to look at it in a different way.
Yeah.
And still, I may accept your point. I may not agree with your point, but I can accept and understand your point. And that's fantastic. That's great conversation for me, because I love film.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart to hear. And you're not the only one. I've heard this from quite a few people who are overwhelmed by the negative responses they get on these big franchise films. If they don't like them, or if they do like them, the other side comes out and starts tearing them apart. And they just get so tired of it. And I have to follow my own advice, which is to not just not read the mentions and not look at the mentions. I tell Rachel Cushing to do. She is one of these people that posts about the YouTube comments all the time.
I know. I love her, and I want her to stop.
Exactly. I love her to pieces, but she's on her own journey. No matter what anyone tells her, she's still going to look and repost them and point them out. But I don't know what you get out of that. But like I said, that's her process and her journey. And no matter what any of us tell her to stop doing that, she's going to do it, because she's where she's at. And I've got to respect that. We all respect that.
Absolutely. And I mean, I got there when it comes to Schmoedown. It's a perfect example, because I had to pull out too at one point. And now I monitor the Schmoedown page. I help build the site and all that kind of stuff. I don't really pay attention anymore to the comments. But that was my journey. I was where Rachel was at one point. But you know what I thought about the other day, to go back? Of course, I would never, ever, ever, ever not talk movies with you.
Yeah, right.
Talk movies with the people that I trust here. You know what I thought about the other day? I couldn't sleep for hours, because I truly considered deactivating social media. Completely. Getting rid of all of them. Because I started to realize not only is the divisiveness, the toxicity very, unfortunate, but it's also become something that I'm trying to be completely honest here, something I'm addicted to.
Yeah.
I am doing this now.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. And my fiance's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm looking at a tweet. What is it? Well, it's somebody's falling down in the snow. Is that important enough to ignore me at dinner? No, it's not. And so it's on me. It's not just that, but it's like this thing that's taking me over. So I started to wonder, what would that look like?
Yeah.
Because there is a goal that I have, and that is to be a working screenwriter more than anything. And I literally had a panic attack the other day thinking about, okay, the dream comes true. Reilly is going to write Spider-Man Homecoming 3.
Sure.
And he writes it. And then it comes out. And I'm on Twitter. Do you see some of these other people that get it? Some of the creators?
Oh, yeah.
The writers, the directors?
Oh, yeah.
Ryan Johnson?
How many of them get hounded off of Twitter?
Yeah.
How many actors, writers, directors, producers, musicians get hounded off Twitter because of people's responses to them?
Yeah.
And the pettiness of those people in achieving that and taking satisfaction in that, I've come to a place now where I feel sorry for those people. Like, I feel such sympathy or sorry for them, because, like, if your life is this, is this what you were intended to be?
Yeah.
Like, is this what your parents wanted you to be? Is this why the universe or God or whatever you believe in created you, was to be this evil force that forced people off something they enjoy doing, which is social media and reading articles and keeping up with people and hearing analysis from or reading analysis from other people or having conversations with people back and forth? Like, is this what you were put on the planet to do?
Yeah.
Do you feel pride?
It just, because, I mean, I've also been, like, I started crying the other day, like, full on, like, tears streaming down my face, because Julie, my fiance, comes home and she goes, you know what, Mark? And she's a yogi, so she's working at her studio, and the Rainbow Connection comes on.
Oh, yeah. Love that song.
God, I love the song so much. And she, like, for the first time in a long time, maybe just her mood or whatever, she really sat and listened to the lyrics. So she came and she played it for me. And I started to just hear the lyrics. And I started to cry. And she's like, wait, what's going on? Why are you crying? And I go, there's just so much hate out there. I feel like I'm going to cry right now. There is so much hate out there that why are you hating for a movie that we should all be united? And that's the big thing. That is, like, what kills me now, is that I'm listening to that Rainbow Connection and I'm like, this is, like, all I want. I want that Rainbow Connection to where even if you don't like what I like, we can still get along, because I just feel like we just so need people to just be cool. That's all I want. I just want people to be cool. So when you're yelling at me and telling me I suck for an opinion, there's no conversation in that. When you're telling my friend that I hope your mom gets cancer, I mean, that is just...
In the month of Christmas, that's the big thing. And Reilly, look, dude, much love and respect for your bravery and talking about it, be honest about it, and even getting emotional here. Like,
I got emotional. I didn't plan that. I did not plan to fucking cry.
There you go.
But man, it just bubbled up inside me that because it's so hard. It's so hard to every day. And I brought up the fact that I'm in therapy. I brought up that I've struggled with anxiety and depression and all these things, and that I've struggled in my career, in my life, and everything, because I want you all to know, when you're yelling, if you're upset and you're attacking Rocha or myself or anybody out there, guess what? You're still like us.
Yeah.
We're the same.
Yeah.
You might be going through something, you might not. I don't know. You might have had a bad day. I don't know. You might just be a prick. I don't know, but we're all the same. So maybe if you just pump the brakes for one hot second and think, well, this is his job.
Yeah,
he didn't like it. You know what? Instead of sending that hateful tweet, I'm going to go decide myself.
Yeah,
and then I'll come back and maybe say, you know what, Rocha, I got to disagree with you, my man. That movie was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And here's why.
Right.
I think that can happen.
I love that.
I think that's what we all want.
Yeah.
But shit, I didn't mean to get so deep into this.
No. I will say one thing, and you know, my
please.
girlfriend asked me the other day because she's not a big fan of Christmas. Not into Christmas.
Yeah.
She goes, "Why do you like Christmas so much?" I was like, "Well, I didn't used to. Like I said, like 20 years ago, it wasn't my thing. I didn't like it, and it was because I was in I didn't know it at the time. Obviously, the analysis now, I was in a negative place about my life, negative place about my relationships, about my family life. Like it just was. So Christmas to me reminded of everything I didn't have.
Yeah.
And so now that through therapy and events and getting older and maturing and looking at the world in a different way, I enjoy Christmas so much over the last few years because it's a time for people to come together and lay down the arms and remember what we were intended to be as human beings.
Yeah.
Right? Remember that we could be better. There's hope for us in the future. There's hope for a unified species that can do incredible things. Why do I love Star Trek? And I know I know this is a Star Wars heavy collider, but like Star Trek.
How dare you, sir? I'm leaving.
Exactly. I love Star Trek because it has a positive vision of the future.
Yeah,
A united federation of planets.
And I love that.
And that's a positive, and that's what Gene Roddenberry is trying to do with Star Trek, and that's what I hope we do achieve one day in the future, even though right now it seems dark, and like I said, you're emotional about it because you can sense it in the air. You're
just everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can
everywhere.
sense it in the air, but you hope there's possibilities of a better tomorrow, and that's what Christmas represents to me. And so when you talk about it, like when people go into this season and they want to spew vitriol, it's just mind-blowing to me.
I know, and I'm with you, man. I mean, there is Christmas music playing every day now when I go home. I mean, Julie loves Christmas. So
that's awesome.
We put up the tree, we put up the decorations, we throw the parties. You know, it's like we love it because, it's that time of the season when I hear it, I think about childhood. I think about it. Just it's that spirit that I want to be every day, and I know it's hard to do. I mean, I'm just as guilty in a lot of these things, but you know, that's the show. Yeah. That's what this was all about, was to just talk it. Like I felt like there was something profoundly interesting that happened when I started seeing the responses there. I just felt like I needed to say something, but in a different way. I wanted to do something different. So we got the light. We got to get out of here because I wanted to talk about Brightburn a lot more, but this conversation that's what this show is. But just real quick, did you like it?
I did like the trailer. I'm excited about the possibilities. We've seen evil Superman before, even in Superman 3. When he starts drinking and whatever. Like, we've seen evil Superman before, and it's interesting to now see this in a movie, in a feature film this way. Once again, this idea of superhero fatigue does not exist.
No.
Now we're exploring the possibilities of turning the Big Blue Boy Scout into something else, and how much would that scare you? Which is, in essence, bringing to life Lex Luthor's basic fear of Superman. What if he turns on us one day? What can we possibly do?
And Batman's driving force in Batman v Superman. Right. Yeah, and it's not
in Justice League Doom. Batman knowing all the ways to beat everybody else.
Yeah, and sure, we know it's not Kal-El. It's not Clark Kent. This is a what if scenario. This is a totally original. But maybe I know I did get some pushback when I said, "Oh, this is a must see for me." No, it's not Superman, but it's that what if scenario. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's like, what if Batman was, I don't know, maybe what if he was a serial killer?
Right.
What if Wonder Woman was a serial killer? I don't know.
That's why Justice League Flashpoint is one of my favorite books.
So good,
and animated movies, because you see what the heroes could be if they didn't have the morality or the code or something to lead them on the good path.
Yeah.
They'd be violent and murder and kill, because to them, it's just another way. It's just another thing to do because they can with their powers.
It's so cool. I love it when genres play and dip their toe in other genres. And that you could have subgenres. And this is this looks to me a horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
And put in the Superman, I'm using air quotes, put in the Superman as your monster, as your serial killer, as your killer, as your creepy kid, because they're doing the creepy kid thing where it's like, we got to talk about Kal-El. Do you see what he wrote in his notebook? Kill everyone? Don't know. We got to talk about it. Well, I'm excited about it too. We'll probably do another episode, but I want to end it there. Mr. Rocha, thank you so much, dude.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. And, God love you for going through all those mentions. You're a braver man than I.
I wanted to know what I was talking about.
Yeah,
and I wanted
to respect that.
I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't pointing fingers. Again, I hope I did an okay job. I'm not pointing fingers.
No, I think you did great.
I wanted to talk about it.
And if any of those people who commented or in those mentions commented negative told me, I hope this podcast and this episode maybe gave you a different perspective, different point of view about my approach to it and about Reilly's approach to it, and maybe make you think just for a little bit extra before you tweet, before you look to antagonize.
Yeah.
Maybe look to have a discussion. That's always the positive.
I think it all goes down to when we tweet about our opinion on a film, we're not doing it against you, man.
Yeah, it's not personal.
It's not personal.
It's not personal, just our thoughts.
Just our thoughts. We want it, because we're hoping, maybe people can come and I know you.
Yeah.
I think what you meant by that tweet is that, somebody sees it and goes, dude, I couldn't have disagree with you more. I loved it. And it's like, great, let's talk.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all. That's episode 26 of the Reilly Roundtable with special guest John Rocha, who's making a run for the co-host position here. Love having you on, man. Where can people find you and all that good stuff?
You can always find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And yeah, come tweet at me or leave a comment for me on Instagram. I love having back and forth with fans and followers. Do that there. Of course, all the Collider video stuff and Collider Sports. If you're into sports, you listen to this, and you happen to be one of those Venn diagram people that cross over into sports, watch our Collider Sports content on the Collider Sports YouTube channel and podcast channel. And of course, the Top 10 show on the Schmoes Know podcast feed, me and Matt Nost, and the Cinephiles, which is its own podcast, not under anybody's feed. It's CINE-Files. We talk about one great movie every week. We're dropping the second episode of Heat this Friday. So Heat is so good. We had to break it up into 2 episodes. So yeah.
I can understand that because Heat is one of the best.
Exactly.
Yes, please follow all that from Mr. John Rocha. And I want to thank all my executive producers on the Reilly Roundtable: Courtney Rose, Dylan Steiner, Kyle Gerbrandt, Zach Anderson, and DJ Snacks, a.k.a. Dave Ham, his real name.
I like that.
And Tamor Buddha. Thank you all. And that comes from the Patreon page, patreon.com/Reilly Roundtable. If you want to join the Patreon, there it is for you. These fine folks have, and they are the executive producers of the show. I do extra shows on that page: Sundays with Reilly, Screaming at the Void, and Page One, where I break down a lot of screenplays, including Infinity War, which was the last one I just did.
Nice.
If you so desire, it's a lot of fun, a great community, highly recommended, and thanks to all my supporters out there. But that'll do it now. Episode 26 in the books of the Reilly Roundtable here on One-on-One with Christian Harloff, Podcast One feed. Check us out every Thursday. We'll be back for an all-new episode next Thursday. See you then.